Hello everyone, with Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Thursday evening, November 16, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at what the U.S. National Hurricane Center is showing on their website. We now have newly designated potential tropical cyclone number 22, and this system is forecast to become a tropical depression later tonight. Then it should be a tropical storm by 1 p.m. on Friday, or it could be a tropical storm even sooner than that. Right now we see that it's packing maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, and it's moving towards the north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. And we can see this system right here bring a lot of clouds, showers and thunderstorms to sections of Jamaica as we speak, with definitely some more of that to come tonight into tomorrow. As it relates to what the models are showing, we're looking now at the 12Z Euro model. And we see that right now the L represents where the system is located to the southwest of Jamaica. Then as we step into 7 a.m. on a Friday, we start to see that L start to make its way closer to the island. Lots of yellows and reds that represent heavy rainfall, as we can see by the key on the right. Then it should be out of here with its heaviest weather as early as Saturday morning. We start to see some whites that represent maybe some sun peeking out and less in due of rainfall, some more in due of isolated showers by the time we get into Saturday. What does the 18Z run of the GFS model show? Something very similar but a bit faster. It's showing that as early as tonight into tomorrow morning we have the heaviest weather passing across Jamaica with those yellows and reds, still getting in on some greens that represent rainfall by Friday afternoon. Then something similar to what the Euro model has shown, with more breaks across Jamaica with those whites that represent little to no rainfall, and more in the way of greens that represent some isolated spotty showers. And we can see that both the Euro and the GFS models accumulated precipitation forecast are showing something similar. Lots of burgundy and purple colors, even getting close to some of those oranges and yellows, showing some tremendous rainfall totals in inches. And that's definitely gonna be in store for sections of Jamaica and southeastern Cuba. So we're definitely gonna be in for some amount of flash flooding, mudslides, landslides, and there has already been flash flooding taking place across sections of the island of Jamaica already, and this is just the beginning of the rainfall. So try to take necessary precautions so that you're not that drastically affected. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic, we can see that we have that area of low pressure that's gonna be sucked up all the way into that trough of low pressure, moving towards the northeast. And we can see the clouds associated with that trough of low pressure attached to that cold front that stretches all the way from northern section of North Atlantic all the way down into the southwestern Atlantic, and extending into portions of the Jamaica area associated with that area of low pressure that's trying to get its act together. So we can see that for the most part, most of the convection has died down by evening hours, but it's definitely starting again, especially tonight when we get into D-max, when we start to build in on the thunderstorm activity. This system is definitely going to be trying to intensify tonight with a lot of deep convection. So we're going to be waking up tomorrow morning with a different kind of satellite image, with all of the heaviest rainfall to the south of the island as well. And if we actually take a look at what took place in what we predicted in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for Thursday, we actually predicted that it would have been a wet day across Jamaica for Thursday, quite a wet day, and that was indeed what took place. We can see that it was predicted to be wet, and as early as 4 a.m. posts were being made. We even had the chance to make many videos on our YouTube page highlighting all of this rainfall that we got throughout the day, and we indeed had that flash flooding that took place across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica. You know, eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex. Western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall. And as usual, northern and southern parishes getting their fair share of heavy rainfall. And these posts were made on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok page. So if you're not following us on those platforms, please ensure that you're doing that by the end of this video. So we're going to be looking at the latest post that we made regarding the cloud cover and rainfall. So we made a post at 6:30 p.m. highlighting the rainbow satellite images that we love to use so much, showing all the cloud cover still across the island. Definitely rainfall still coming in from the south across the island, and we indeed confirmed the rainfall with some of our followers. Shan stating no rain for a while at my location in Spanish Town. Marianne Hines, wicked here in Springfield in St. Elizabeth. Even on our Facebook page, we have commenters confirming the rainfall. Shawnee stating raining in St. Andrew but not heavy. Amanda, raining in St. Mary. Kiva, raining in time and patience, not very heavy. Tashibra stating raining continuously in Trelawney. Yolanda, raining Freetown, Clarendon. Even on our Instagram page, we had commenters confirming the rainfall. Amelia Burton stating loving this weather in Portmore. Portmore Bell stating Greater Portmore getting it a lot. Sapphire Willie Marsh stating light to moderate rain in Mobay from morning until now. And even Roots KK stating moderate and continuous rain since early afternoon in Retreat St. Mary. And Calda Diva stating drizzle in Kingston. And if we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, reloading the page so that we have the latest, we can still see that we have all of that cloud cover coming in from the south across the island. So majority of it is moving from south to north, so the southern parishes are going to be getting in on that rainfall first, then it's spilling into sections of some northern parishes, and we can even see it better on the Cuban Doppler radar images. We know we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall, but the Cuban Doppler radar images are here to save the day, because we know the Jamaican Doppler radar has been down for quite some time. Hopefully they get it sorted out as quickly as possible. So we can see that it's now 8 p.m. So the latest Doppler radar image that just came out is at 7:50, and we see the greens that represent light to moderate rainfall, the yellows that represent heavy rainfall, even some oranges in there, and Jamaica is blanketed. Almost all parishes are getting in on some amount of rainfall at this time, and there's definitely a lot more rainfall to come. And if we take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this does indeed paint a picture of where we had the heaviest amounts of rainfall across the island for today. So definitely sections of some southern parishes, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, sections of St. Thomas got in on that tremendous rainfall, and we see the rainfall totals in millimeters. Not so much across the north, but definitely the southern parishes got in on the brunt of the rainfall. And even our See Jamaica YouTube live streams from the halfway tree camp were confirming the rainfall that we got today. This is halfway tree at about 11:25 a.m. and we saw that we had persons walking with their umbrella, cars with their windshield wipers on. And we definitely had a very wet day across the corporate area, and it's going to be even wetter on Friday. And we can also see that even right now the live stream as of 8 p.m. is still showing some amount of rainfall taking place across halfway tree, and even on the crossroads cam we still see much of the same. We can see the bright atmosphere with all of the lights, lighting up the place with all the wet weather, the moisture in the atmosphere. So we're definitely having some amount of rainfall tonight across the corporate area, across majority of the island. So this does indeed confirm what we just saw on the Cuban Doppler radar images. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, And by 3 a.m. on Friday, the temperature should dip down to about 24 degrees Celsius in both parishes. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we do still see that for 18th on Friday, 1 p.m. on Friday that is, for the most part, Jamaica should be getting in on at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures for Friday. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of November about the same as 88 degrees Fahrenheit. And we take a look at the thermometer, 88 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 31 degrees Celsius at most for Friday. As it relates to the dry air map, we know the dry air is represented by the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those raised by the key at the bottom. And we do see that dry air across the Gulf of Mexico, northern Atlantic sections of the main development region. Majority of the air that's being affected by that potential tropical cyclone. Majority of the Caribbean in general, we can see lots of blues that represent moist air. However, as it relates to the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Friday, we start to see some of these browns that represent the Saharan dust making its way all the way from Africa across the main development region, affecting sections of the Eastern Caribbean. Jamaica should be in the clear for 2 p.m. on Friday. As it relates to the wave forecast, we're definitely going to be in for some very high waves across the island, especially across the waters to the south, north, and east of the island, as we can see represented by those purples and pinks, averaging anywhere from 2-meter wave heights or more, and we see that on both the and the GFS models. And that's because the winds are going to be strong, especially considering that there's a developing tropical cyclone in our vicinity. Winds are going to be gusting anywhere from 25 to even 30 knots. And yes, we use knots in Jamaica. However, we need to recognize that it's a tropical storm, so the winds are gonna be capable of getting anywhere from 39 to 73 miles per hour. That's about the same as 34 to 64 knots, and that's exactly what's gonna be expected. So we're definitely gonna be getting in on some very choppy seas. Some of these yellows that we see that represent 25 to 30 knots are going to be getting even more robust if we get that tropical storm status before the system enters Jamaica. So reds and even purples in there, maybe even some blues by the key at the bottom right. And we can also see that spin across southwestern Jamaica on the GFS model to show that the center of circulation is going to be crossing over Jamaica by 12 on Friday. And look at that strong southeasterly flow across the east. Is definitely going to be windy and rainy for Friday across the island. And we can also see that when it comes to the wind shear, the wind shear is represented by those blues, greens, yellows, oranges, and reds. And the more colorful it gets, the more intense the wind shear will be. For the area that Jamaica will be at for 18th on Friday, that's 1 p.m. on Friday, it should be some low end of the scale wind shear coming in from the southwest, most of what we've already been receiving. So yes, it's encountering some amount of wind shear as we speak, but it's still trying to get its act together, especially considering that their area has the least amount of wind shear with all of the whites and a mixture of blues. But need not forget that we have a lot of high sea surface temperatures, and the waters aren't only high in temperature at the surface, but the deeper we go into the ocean, so there's a lot of ocean heat content for that circulation to tap into and suck up and get even stronger. As relates to the rainfall totals or the rainfall forecast for the 1 hour totals, we can see that as early as midnight tonight, that's 12 a.m. on Friday, we still have much of the same across sections of most parishes in Jamaica. Look at all of those colors, greens, yellows, oranges, reds, purples in there as well. We do have some contrast to show the heaviest rain on the southwest on the Euro model for the same time as the GFS showing more of that rainfall across southern and eastern Jamaica. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. There's no sleep tonight, definitely going to be monitoring the weather. Look at the forecast. This is 3 a.m. on Friday, much of the same on the Euro model, with majority of the island getting in on those strong colors. The GFS a bit more robust with northern and eastern Jamaica, some blues and greens still across some spotty areas. We'll see how that goes. Skipping ahead to about 10 a.m. on Friday, Much of the same on the Euro, lots of colors that represent a lot of rainfall. GFS trying to make it seem as if majority of the heaviest weather associated with the system has moved off towards the northeast of the island, but we still have some blues that represent that there could still be some lingering showers. We'll see exactly how that plays out. And then finally, the 3 p.m. Jamaica time forecast still shows rain across eastern, central, and western parishes on both models. Euro still more robust than the GFS. Either way, I've never seen an accumulated precipitation forecast quite like this. Let me see if I can even find the key to show. So we can see the key on the right, and keep in mind that this is the Euro model that shows all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on a Friday. And look how tremendous this gets. 1 inch of rainfall is represented by the reds, but look at that, we get even past the purples that represent 5 inches of rainfall and get into 6 to 7 inch of rainfall territory, and that is spanning eastern, central, and western Jamaica on the Euro model. What does the GFS show? Most of what the the GFS is showing most of what the Euro model just showed, but mainly across southern and eastern Jamaica. Look at those rainfall total. This is incredible. There's definitely going to be some amount of flash flooding taking place, mudslides, landslides. If you live in a low-lying or flood-prone area, please ensure that you get to higher ground, stay with a relative, get to a shelter, because there's definitely going to be some heavy rainfall tonight into tomorrow from this system. We can see that it's trying to get its act together to the south of the island as we speak, with all of that deep convection. This is the latest image, and look at all of this starting to take shape. All of this area is about to be filled with a lot of convection tonight, and then head across Jamaica into tomorrow morning. It's definitely going to be some bad news when we wake up tomorrow. Hopefully it's not as bad as we think. Either way, we're in the month of November. We're in the final month of the rainy season. We'll take all the rainfall that we can get, because we know how the dam and reservoir in Jamaica are. By the time we head into the middle of our dry season, from December to April, there could be some low water levels, then the National Water Commission putting in some water restrictions. Hopefully that's not the case for this dry season. We'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, we'll take all the rainfall that we can get, as long as it's not causing any loss of life or major damage. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So apart from what's taking place across sections of the Bahamas, Florida, the Gulf of Mexico, the Greater Antilles, Cuba, Haiti, Jamaica, and sections of Costa Rica and Panama, we do see some rainfall coming into sections of French Guiana, Suriname, Guyana, Venezuela, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we can even see some of what we just saw on the satellite images, if these images will load. So not much across the Leeward Islands at this time, but definitely as we head to the southeast of there, so anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, getting in on some amount of rainfall tonight. Definitely Guadeloupe tonight, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Barbados, some isolated spots in Barbados getting some of that rainfall, but we can see the heaviest of the rainfall right now to the northwest of there, across sections of Dominica, Martinique, and we can also see some of that rainfall coming into sections of eastern Trinidad and Tobago. More we have some isolated shores with the heaviest rainfall right there across sections of Grenada right now. As relates to the wider view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall right there across sections of northern or north central Cuba. That rainfall that we just mentioned on the satellite images across sections of Suriname and Guyana. And as it relates to the temperature forecast, we do see that for majority of the Caribbean, we should be averaging anywhere from normal temperatures to about at least 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. As it relates to the Sahara dust forecast, majority of the central and western Caribbean should be in the clear, but it's the eastern Caribbean that has the low end of the scale for the Saharan dust. Some light shades of browns, but we won't even be noticing that in the sky to bring some hazy weather. Maybe it could trigger some person's sinusitis or allergies, but not in the way of asthma at all. Usually when we see the hazy skies and person's asthma being triggered, it's when we have those darker shades of browns coming in from Africa, and we don't think majority of this is going to be even making its way into the Jamaica area at all. As it relates to the wave forecast, we do see that majority of the southwestern US into the northern section of the US are going to be getting in on 2-meter wave heights or more, and that's because the winds are going to be strongest in those spots. Look at all of these yellows and bright greens coming in from the east, trying to come into the low level spin, that era across the southeastern United States coast, the waters to the southeast of the United States, and also that area that's to affect Jamaica. So wherever we have the yellows, we know that represents some kind of low pressure area or high pressure gradient that's strong, causing some 25 knot winds or more, and we do see some isolated pockets of 20 to 30 knot winds across the eastern Caribbean, definitely across Jamaica, associated with tropical or potential tropical cyclone 22, while other areas are going to be getting in on the greens that represent anywhere from 15 to 20 knots. As it relates to the rainfall forecast now, look at these tremendous rainfall totals. So we already spoke about what's expected across Jamaica within the next 12 to 24 hours. But we do see that we're definitely in for some tremendous rainfall as well across sections of Costa Rica, Panama, also some isolated spots of Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, not so much across the Yucatan Peninsula or Belize, but some isolated spots for sections of the Cayman Islands, western Cuba, central Cuba, southeastern Cuba especially. We also see rainfall expected across sections of the Bahamas, southern Hispaniola, eastern Puerto Rico, southern Puerto Rico as well. We do see some contrast with the rainfall that's forecast for the Leeward Islands, so Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin. We don't see what we see on the GFS for the Euro, so that will be interesting to see how that unfolds. But areas to the south of Guadeloupe definitely in for some amount of rainfall. So Dominica, Martinique, if it's not already falling right now, just like how we just saw on the Doppler radar images, it's definitely going to be expected sometime within now and 10 p.m. on Friday. And we see that across sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, sections of Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, maybe sections of Barbados as well. Also see some isolated pockets of rainfall across sections of French Guiana, Suriname, definitely Guyana and eastern Venezuela for sure, as well as Colombia. I know that when both maps are showing something similar like this, the chances of actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.